All right, Colts fans, we have got Indianapolis Colts star first-round rookie Laiatu Latu joining us today. Welcome to the show, Laiatu. For first time you've been on here.
Yes, sir. Appreciate y'all for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. So we are here to talk first about this Campbell's Chunky Soup, their Chunky Sacks Hunger campaign. You've got an event going on in Indy today. Why don't you tell us a little bit
Yeah.
about that?
Well, I mean, shoot, we're here at Gleaners. Got to take a tour and help out and volunteer with getting food out to people that need it around Indiana. But I mean, more importantly, like for every sack that I make on the field, 1,000 meals gets to be donated around the country. So, it's a pretty big deal.
That's awesome because I know Zaire is doing some donations for every tackle he's got. So it looks like you
Yeah.
guys some really good competition going on that's benefiting people. Speaking of things locally, I'm watching the Indiana game the other day. It's obviously a big deal here. And the name Latu flashes up. And I remember, from your opening press conference there, your brother plays for Washington. I'm like, oh, Latu's brother can ball. All right now.
Yeah, he can. He's like 6'8", 250, 260 now, tight end, and can run pretty smooth. And like his blocking is grade A for sure.
Oh yeah, no, he's a baller. Again, I knew he was on there, but he's turning some heads now.
No, yeah, I
But
appreciate that.
yeah. But speaking of some things that are continuing going on locally, you've obviously got this community event going on today. You're a kid from out on the West Coast, and I'm sure everything's been a bit of a whirlwind since you got drafted. But how have you acclimated to being here in Indy so far?
I mean, shoot, I feel like I've adapted pretty well. My neighbors are super nice. They look after me, and then everyone around Indy is pretty nice around here. So it makes it a lot easier. And I like the slow, it's not like fast like LA or anywhere in Cali, to be honest. So I feel like I've adapted really well.
Awesome. And, talking about adapted, you guys have had to adapt a lot on that defensive line this year to not having superstar player DeForest Buckner. He gets back out there this weekend, and the defensive line goes crazy. All of you guys get a piece of the pie and really get after C.J. Stroud. I mean, what was it like for you guys to get a player like DeForest Buckner back this weekend?
I mean, shoot, we got, a leader back and somebody who, he's going to go out there and make plays. So, and someone that, a lot of us look up to as well. So, that definitely, drove us that day.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you obviously, we're big Coach Ed guys. We've known him for a while. He's been on the show a few times.
Yeah.
He's got the whole group of you out there. So what's that been like? Like, again, coming from Cali to Indy, but you've got some familiarity with Kwity, and I mean, I know Samson's been injured, but he's back in there. I saw him in the facility the other day. So you've kind of got a support system. What's that been like to help you grow as a young player?
So I feel like if I didn't have that, I'd be going through a way tougher time, on my own. But, that I have them, I could reach out to, I'd be kicking it with Dayo, Kwity at times just because, I knew them before with training with them. Buck, and all the OGs have been kind of big brothers to me in a sense. So, I mean, everybody looks out for each other and, they make it real easy, being out here for my first time.
Yeah. And what's the competition like between you guys when you're out there, like in Cali or even in the games, when you're competing for sacks? And I know you guys are teammates at the end of the day, but like you want to get yours when you're out there. Like, what's that kind of competition like with those guys?
I mean, shoot, we trying to beat each other, to the quarterback, every, pass snap that we get. And when somebody, wins, everybody's like, what'd you do? What'd you hit him with? Like, what move did you do? So like, everyone's kind of like trying to, take a piece of everybody and trying to hit the same thing in the game and trying to work off each other. So it's definitely competitive.
Yeah, and your pass rush numbers are really productive. The pressures, the hits, all that's there. Only have 2 official sacks so far. I feel like a lot of you guys meet at the ball, so there's half sacks that get shared and everything. But you've made a lot of quarterbacks uncomfortable. What's that next step for the official sack numbers to come in and not just be the pressure so far?
Really, I mean, sure. I feel like I've worked like pretty good off Tunsil this week and got to build off my repertoire and kind of get a better understanding of rushing too. So I feel like that's just going to elevate me for this next game.
Yeah, for sure. And one thing that really pops when you watch your film is, most pass rushers, they have that one go-to move. And I'm watching your film and it's like, oh, here comes the cross chop. It's coming right here. He's coming off the edge, that cross chop. That's just so nasty. And you've had it since college and stuff like that. When did you really start getting, that move and these other moves kind of in your bag to where you're comfortable whipping it out like, most of the time in the game.
Yeah, I mean, shoot, that came from like just college and being able to work it like repetitively, over and over, and then still working on it in the league. So it's, just going to keep on getting better. And I'm understanding, when to throw it out there and what packages and what fronts, I can throw it. So, it's all coming together.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. We know you're a football junkie, always working, always studying. So last time I talked to Ed, he said he doesn't really like to compare people, but he said you and TJ Watt are very similar in how you move and everything. You guys obviously played the Steelers. Did you get to pick his brain at all after the game, or what was it at least like seeing him so up close and personal?
No, it was pretty crazy. I mean, I watched him probably every time that he was out there, and just his rushes and, the way he switches his stances and stuff like that. And when he's hitting his move, off which leg, because, I usually go inside foot back, but, I'm trying to like figure out, how he does it and stuff like that, and being able to watch it, so, up close was pretty crazy.
Yeah, for sure. And something cool with this Colts defensive front, even your defensive front at UCLA, is just how versatile you are when it comes to, I mean, you'll be mugging the A gap on some of these third downs. You'll be out in that wide 9 a lot. You'll be coming in at the B gap. Like, is that something, do you think, like the coaches kind of adapt to you, or is it just like, hey, I fit this role that you guys need right here, and I'm comfortable rushing everywhere?
I mean, it's definitely I fit that role that they need, because, it's something that they've been trying to, get together for a while now and create those packages. So I feel like it's definitely a role that I've just, fit into kind of, perfectly, being able to, because I can rush from, the inside and the outside, and then being able to, try to show a blitz here, get them to slide this way, and then, I can still drop and stuff like that too. Mm-hmm. So I feel like, it's kind of like a perfect place for me to play.
Yeah. And, we saw this past week, I don't want to get into any game plan specifics or anything, but with the amount of pressures that were being brought in this past game with you, I mean, you were all over the place. You even had a couple coverage snaps in this one. When's the first interception coming? Like, that's the real thing that's really coming. I mean, you on third down early in the game, you're dropping into the flat and they threw it close to you there. Like, I feel like
I wanted to bite on it, but I mean, I take the cheese.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so obviously this is a very interesting business. The Colts, a little news today, made the move going to Joe from Anthony. I mean, you're a rookie, but at the end of the day, everyone is equal once that helmet comes on. A move like this, that's important, that, trying to win now as a member of that locker room, what kind of message does that send to you?
Shoot, I didn't hear anything of that, honestly. So I feel like I can't even speak on that. But I mean, whoever's my quarterback, I'm gonna look up to that person as a leader and try to, follow in that light.
Yeah. And
gotcha.
We kind of talked about it earlier, when you talked about DeForest Buckner. But speaking of leaders on the defense, two guys on the interior, Grover Stewart, DeForest Buckner, guys who have been here and done it for so long. I mean, even Kwity Paye on the other side too. Like, he's done it now for years. Like, when you're kind of in this first year, like, how much are you leaning on those guys for just picking their brains as pass rushers, picking their brains as veterans in the league? Like, how much are you really leaning on those guys?
So I lean on them more than the coaches, honestly. I mean, those are guys that, do it consistently. They've been doing it for years now. And, whatever they say, like, I'm going to, believe it with all my heart and, try and, go out there and work off of what they told me. But, I mean, I look up to those guys, in a major way.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, Latu, thanks again. Again, he is teaming up with Campbell's Chunky Soup for the Chunky Sacks Hunger campaign. Thanks so much for joining us today, and good luck this Sunday night.
Thank you guys very much. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks.